How are you guys doing? Wow, great. That's nice. That's nice. So let's get started. There was a little bit of technical difficulties today, but let's get started. Welcome to the 35th Zest Leaders Club session. So, as the topic goes, habits is what it says. Now, what are your habits? What are the things when somebody says habits? Where does your mind go? Most probably, everybody's mind goes to bad habits, bad things that is there in the life. As the title of this or the topic of this session is, it's not only just bad habits, it's more importantly the good habits which gets a big tick mark like a teacher, how she would give it to you. Let me take you back into a storyline or a place that I visited. I was in Kerala for a happy family trip and all that. And we did not know what to do. We just wanted to go out. So my wife was researching different places to go. And she found a place which is called an orchid farm. A farm which has orchids. Okay. That particular farm, I never imagined there was an orchid farm in Kerala first of all. So we chose to go there. Whatever it is, wherever it is, so we drove, we asked people, and then finally we went to that particular place. As soon as we entered, we were in for a beautiful sight. It was an amazing place. Okay, the owner of the farm came over because we booked and said that we wanted a walk on the farm. He actually came along with us and he walked us through the entire farm. It was such a big farm and we could walk around and see so many beautiful flowers, orchids, varieties of orchids. I have never seen such varieties anywhere, and it was so beautiful. Okay? And what happened is, he explained to us that he carefully grew those orchids. He planted nutrients, the fertilizers, he gave it for them. He watered the plants effectively, the right amount of water. So he said in Malayalam, Nalla vellam corrected ഒഴിച്ചിട്ട് നല്ലപോലെ വളർത്തിക്കൊണ്ടുവരുന്നു. Meaning, I pour the right amount of water, give it the right amount of nutrients and help it to grow. He said he used to have bouquets made out of all these orchids, and with these bouquets what he did was he used to export across the world. He used to take photographs and he used to export it across the world, and there were so many cinema actors and actresses. We used to order bouquets worth 50,000 bucks, and that used to get delivered to Delhi, North India and different places. Now Hollywood, Bollywood, Tollywood, everywhere. What happens is, if a cinema actor or an actress gets a bouquet which contains weeds, you heard it right, weeds. If a cinema actor or an actress gets weeds as a bouquet, would that person be happy? They'll immediately get mad, they'll throw it out. They wouldn't like it. Same way, nobody likes to see weeds, and these people who are having this orchid farm as well, they did not love to have weeds at all in their farm, and they used to pull out all the weeds and they kept the farm very clean, neat, in a good way. No unnecessary plants, no unnecessary trees, only the beautiful orchids. Our mind, our brain is like a fertile ground. It's like a farm, and what we plant over there is what will blossom out. If you plant a mango tree, a few years down the line, you can expect to taste nice mangoes. If you plant an apple tree somewhere near Kulu Manali and all these places, after a few years, you can look forward to tasting nice apples. At the same time, Would you be interested to plant a weed, a tree which does not do anything for you, which does not help you in any way? When I was researching on this topic, I came across a specific kind of tree called machineal tree. It's mostly grown in US. Nobody grows it specifically, but if it grows, it's one of the most poisonous trees. And if that tree, it is said that if you go and stand under the tree when it's raining, even your skin can get burnt, because there is some secretion, the sap which comes from the tree. When the rainbow droplets carry that and comes on your hand or fingers or your skin could even burn. So there are beautiful trees, beautiful plants, orchids, mangoes, apples and stuff like that. At the other end you have machineal and things like that. Nobody wants to grow these. People want to grow orchids, the mangoes, the apples and all the beautiful things. But how come in our brain, why do we choose to grow bad habits? When you ask people, when you ask someone, what are the bad habits? The first thing that comes into anybody's mind from any of you would be smoking, drinking, and we always think these are the bad habits. But there are multiple bad habits, like when you're criticizing constantly, when you are a negative naysayer, if you keep on saying, oh, this will not work, that will not work, that is also a bad habit. Somebody is eating, he is a stress eater, that could also be a bad habit. Somebody who comes late every time for a meeting, who is a procrastinator, all these are bad habits. But we always think, oh, smoking and drinking are the only bad habits. There are multiple. Now, in the recent days, mobile addiction, all the time, this one, and all the time binge watching television are also becoming the top runners currently. In US, if I would say bad habits kill, in US, that's the truth. I wouldn't say in US alone, it's across the world, bad habits kill. Really, really it kills. We have almost 4,43,824 people dying every year because of smoking. It's that bad. Obesity, eating unhealthy. Can you imagine how many people it kills across the world? 21% of the world population dies because of unhealthy eating or obesity. You eat whatever junk you want and you think you will live forever? Sorry, that's not something that would happen. But then, what is it that causes? Everybody knows. We all know what it is. Coke, Pepsi, all the sweetened drinks, all this fried foods, all the red meat and stuff, not eating healthy vegetables, not eating healthy fruits, all that, yes, we all know it. But then what happens? Whenever we go out, whenever we have a stomach full of biryani, what do? The first thing that we order is, one Sprite please, or one Coke please. Unfortunately, do you even imagine what it does to your body? The same thing is what so many of the other bad habits do. Anyway, we have spoken so much about what bad habits are. How do we correct ourselves? How do we change ourselves? How do we help our mind to become better? And what do you do for it? And that's what I would ask you, each and every one of you, to start thinking. I will give you a 5-step process, which I would shortly call as I see far. I see far. That means I stands for identify, C stands for choose, F stands for focus, and A stands for associate, and R stands for reward. Identify, choose, focus, associate, and reward. Let's go to each one of them, and that will help you to know and understand how you can mold yourself or get yourself out of all these habits. The first part is identifying, knowing what are your bad habits, and that's the first step in your journey. If you really do not know what are your habits or the bad habits that you have, forget it. There's no use for this session at all. Or if you have all good habits with you and you don't have any bad habits is what you think, thank you so much for attending this session. I would say you could always leave, or you could also teach me as well, because I as well have bad habits. I'm not saying that nobody in this world is without bad habits. They all have, but the point is everyone tries to come out of them. Let me start once again the identify process. So starting to identify what are your bad habits, and that's the first step, and that's the first step in your journey. The second step is choose. When I say choose, and when I say as a second step, choose two. Take two of your bad habits. The topmost one or the ones that you would really like to change. Write it down on a piece of paper, and put it inside your diary or somewhere safe. When you have chosen two habits that you would like to change, start thinking about it. Not about the bad habits, but the opposite of what it is. For example, if you are a person who is like thinking about eating junk food all the time, start focusing on eating healthy. So that's where I come to focus. That's the number 3. If I ask you guys, all of you, to close your eyes for a minute, close your eyes for a minute, and then I'll ask you to do something. You should not think of a blue color horse for the next 1 minute. If I ask you to do that, what happens to your brain? Your brain automatically triggers and you will see a blue color horse in your mind. You cannot avoid it, and that's how it works. It functions like that. The same way, if you focus and say, oh, I should not eat unhealthy food, I should not eat junk food, I should not watch too much of TV. If you say I should not, and you're focusing on the negative thing, on the bad habit, what happens to you? You would not come out of that bad habit. But instead of that, if you focus and say, I'm a healthy person, I'm growing healthy every day, I eat healthily, and that gives me a better life ahead. Or if you want to say, I use my time wisely, it helps me in my personal and professional growth. Your focus basically changes from your negative habit up to the positive habit. And that really is what matters. For a long-term good health, you need to invest that. You need to do that. And that's your focus. The fourth one, associate. You have to associate yourself to good habits. I'll just give an example. I was a guy who, I wouldn't want to tell you the time, okay? I feel sheepish to tell my time that I used to wake up. Before marriage, it was even worse, but after marriage, at least it was a decent 7 o'clock or 7:30, and weekends it was like 8 o'clock, 8:30. And that itself was bad for me. Sometimes even later than that, but the point is, on the average is what I would say, okay? Now, at a particular point in time, I realized that I was wasting time in sleeping. I was not taking care of my health, and for sure running, jogging and all these things was never ever in my radar. In the last 2 years, I decided that I would need to have a change. Over a period of time, I started focusing on the healthiness of running. Whenever I was able to read, I used to read more about running. My focus was shifting towards running, how healthy it is. When I see people who have exercised and we are strong, I feel good about them. I feel good that I would like to do that as well. Slowly, little by little, as my focus was specifically on the healthy habit of running and getting up, waking up early in the morning for a run, I implemented that over a period of time. It's not only me, every one of us can do that, and absolutely no doubts. So, today if I consider, even when it's 8 degrees outside, when it's cold, when it's shivering, I can't even imagine getting out of the bed, okay? But 5 o'clock in the morning, I am awake, out of the bed, take my bath, get ready, and off for a jog. And that's what it is today. How did this happen? Because I stopped focusing on the negative habit of me sleeping, me not exercising, and all these things, but instead I focused on the positive habit in life. And that is what changed me. So that's number 4. I see far. Identify. Then what is the next one? Choose, focus, associate, and we have done that. We have associated our mind to the good habits now. And the last one is reward. If you are having trouble, if you are having a situation that you are not able to motivate yourself to run, do this, try this, and it's proven as well. Go, do a small jog, come back home, take a small piece of chocolate and have that. If you love chocolate, take a small piece of chocolate and have that. And do this every day. Over a period of time, every time that you do this, endorphins get released, which is neurotransmitter which gets released in your brain, and those are happy hormones, and that gets associated with your jogging or running. And every time it happens that after the run you are having this small bit of chocolate, it feels, your mind starts getting fooled, thinking that, wow, it's a good thing, whenever I jog it's good. And you can actually come to the next level, ensuring that you maintain this habit for a longer term or a longer time period. End of the day, it's a very simple 5-step process if you want to change all your bad habits into good habits. What do? You identify. I see far. You identify. You really will see far once you do all these steps and have good habits. Identify. And then you choose 2 habits that you would like to change. Write it down, put it in your diary. Don't look at it again. You know it already. Number 3, focus. What do you focus on? Don't focus on the negative, focus on the positive. Number 4, associate. And that association will take you for a longer time period. And that helps you. Number 5 is reward yourself. Every time you see that there is a habit that you would like to change, you follow this 5-step process of I see far. For sure, you will change your life and you will become a better personality and a better human being as well. It's time for all of us to start this step. We have grown up so much. We have come to this level and it's time to stop our bad habits, whatever it might be. It could be watching TV, or it could be wasting time with their mobiles, or it could be eating junk food, smoking, drinking and stuff like that. But then if you want to see far ahead in your life, if you want to see your children and if you want to see your grandchildren, I see far is what you do. Thank you very much. Guys, any points or any things that you would like to add on, please go ahead.